Hello, movie patient, and welcome to Film Therapy. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies, also known as your film therapist. I am not a real therapist, but I play one on the internet just for this show. And as with every session of film therapy, I have a guest patient. And my guest patient today is Mr. Samm Levine.
Oh my god.
Welcome.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Brienne.
I'm so happy that you're here. And I just remembered that I forgot to tell you that my microphones are cheap. And so you have to move them all the time and really close to your mouth. But you sing karaoke. So you know that microphones need to be really close to your mouth. Whereas other people like, well,
Right.
here.
It's true. Also, I don't have the headphones, so I can't self-modulate.
That's true. You
I gotta
can't.
just take your word for it.
You do. So when I
Also-
like go
yeah.
like this,
Yep,
then you'll know.
Yep. Also, I want to apologize to the audience. I'm a little hoarse today. I don't know why. I must have been singing in my sleep, but
Mhm.
it's a little. I'm a little lower register today, but I can still project. So
If you were to sing in your sleep, what song would you be singing in your sleep?
probably "Splish Splash" by
Okay.
Bobby Darin.
You're a Bobby Darin. That's like your go-to
I
guy,
do love
right?
Bobby Darin.
Okay.
Yes, I am a crooner.
Beyond the Sea
when I sing.
is my favorite Bobby Darin.
I mean, that's a great one.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think almost all of Bobby Darin's big hits, by the way, were covers.
Oh.
Which is
Okay,
all
well,
right.
That's kind of sad.
No, but
It's
I
kinda like
mean,
Michael Bublé.
yes.
Okay,
If you think about it,
okay.
yeah, most of the Beyond the Sea and Mac the Knife and at least one more, all covers.
Okay, I remember on Schmoes Know you saying that you when you do karaoke you start with Mac the Knife.
I do
Is that
start. That's my
always?
opener. That's
Okay.
I got to warm up.
Got
Yep.
it. I need to have a warm up song. Although usually I'm just doing one song when I do karaoke.
Just the one?
Just the one. And I need to switch it up because the last time I did karaoke, I was like, you know what? I think I'm too old for this song now in terms of like my voice register. Like I need to change it up.
You could just pull an Elton John and just sing the entire song in the new key.
Maybe that's what but it's hard because I sing I Will Survive.
Oh, wow.
So I gotta like
I mean, that's a great song, but that has got to be your closer.
it should be.
Yeah.
It should be the closer. The thing is, the last time I did karaoke, this is how I do karaoke now as a parent.
Okay.
This is what happens.
Yep.
We take all the kids, they go to one household in the neighborhood. This is like a neighborhood thing. So we have like progressive dinners where we start at one house and then we go to the next house and stuff. All, all the
Wow.
neighbors. So we drop the kids off at one house and that's where all the babysitters are. So
Love
like
it.
12 kids, 15 kids, I'm not
Okay.
sure. 3 babysitters. And then we go over to one other person's house and we're in the backyard and they have it set up with karaoke and there's like a gazebo and the person is singing in the gazebo and there's lights and stuff and then someone's in charge of like
Wow.
it's a lot of fun. Backyard karaoke.
This is
But
like
everyone sucks.
it's like a very progressive kibbutz. I want to live here now.
It is a great neighborhood, I
Yeah.
will say. I
Yeah.
will say. But anyways, this show is not about my neighborhood. It is about film therapy. If you've never joined us, here's how it works. I'm going to ask Samm 3 questions. They're the same 3 questions that I ask each and every patient that comes on the show. What is a film that inspires you? What is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful, maybe it's happy. And what is a film that helps you through difficult times? Before we do that,
Okay.
let's get to know Samm a little bit better.
Oh.
So who are you? How do we know you? What can you tell us about yourself?
Well, most people probably know me from To Catch a Predator.
Okay.
I
Yes.
was the delivery guy who showed up at the wrong place at the
Mm.
wrong time. Had a
Mm.
very hilarious conversation with Chris Hansen. No, I'm an actor. I'm a producer. I'm a show business person. I'm a podcast personality these days.
Yes. That's the
which-
best kind of person.
Which, let me tell you, pays so much better than the first 2 things I mentioned. Let's see. Most of the people who stop me know me from a little show called Freaks and Geeks. Some other people know me from the film Inglourious Bastards. And then even fewer people know me from the rest of my body of work.
I've never seen Not Another Teen Movie.
Yep, that's something I'm in.
But I need to see that because I'm a big Chris Evans fan.
Who
so like
isn't?
I mean, he's like my movie husband if I had a movie husband.
Sure.
It would be him.
He's a nice boy from
Yeah.
Boston.
So I'm like, it's one of those things as a female. I remember when I liked Leonardo DiCaprio, I went through all of his movies like as a
Mhm.
teenager. And I'm like, I haven't done that for Chris Evans. Maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah, definitely check out Teen Movie. He's really funny in it.
I will put that in my queue. It's in my queue right now.
Please do.
I've done it in my mind.
I need that portion of a penny
Okay,
that
good.
I will get from a stream.
Amazing. I love it. I love it.
I assume that's how it works. I
It
still
might
haven't
be
looked
how
it
it
up.
works. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. So checks just randomly come to you? Is that how that works?
That is exactly how it works.
Okay.
Yes,
You're like, oh, hey.
I get random residual checks all the time. When you've been in as much crap as I have, that's just part of the job.
Huh.
But lest the home audience think I'm raking it in, most of these checks are for about
I was
$8.
going to say 7 cents.
Yeah, and they don't like come. They wait until it's at least an amount that's not embarrassing
Mm-hmm.
before they send
Oh,
out.
okay.
Because I started a collection of checks that are 5 cents and under.
Whoa.
And so far, there are over 100 checks that are
Okay.
5 cents and under. And right now, I think it's 27 checks that are 1 penny.
Wow.
I'm still
But that
waiting
adds up.
still waiting for the elusive 0.00 residual check, which does get spit out every once in a while because it happens automatically.
Interesting.
And if it's less than half a penny, but it's been X amount of time, it has to be printed and sent to you.
That's crazy.
I can't wait to get that check. That's a career accomplishment right there.
It will be framed in your home. I'm excited about
Absolutely.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
I want it to be framed in like gold or some sort of metal.
I'm from the Trump collection. I am absolutely framing it in gold.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Man, I was just thinking about that one guy, the story like years ago that like took all his pennies to Coinstar or something and he had like $20,000.
That's a lot.
It's like, how is Coinstar going to be able to like do this? Also, I mentioned Coinstar and like way long ago, and someone in the chat later or someone later posted, what is Coinstar? It's this machine where you take all your change and you just like dump it in. It's like at the grocery store. And then it sorts it all for you and it counts it all for you. And then it gives you your money, although it takes a little percentage.
Not if you put 20 grand in there, that's more than a little.
That's right.
But yes,
maybe
it
you
does.
should just roll that yourself.
The trick with Coinstar, if you have to use it, you lazy bastards, is to have it give you a gift card instead of just cash.
Okay.
Because I believe if it gives you a gift card for any one of the number of retailers that work with it, it does not take the percentage.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the supermarket that it's in would probably be one of those people.
It might be.
Okay.
Which seems like it makes sense, but I don't do that. I can't stand to give up money in that scenario.
Right.
On account of my own laziness. So
I
will sit there, I will roll
Okay, good.
all those coins, put them in the little things, and then lug them to the bank and deposit it.
That's how you do
sooner than I would do Coinstar. Also, I don't trust you, Coinstar. I don't trust you.
Okay, good. I did it once with my daughter because she had a lot of coins, and I was like, let's just go see how much this is because I'm tired.
Yep.
We did it and then saw that, the percentage comes out and whatever. And I was like, well, I'll make up the difference for her because I would feel terrible. And got the money. And then I was like, we're never coming back here again because I don't have coins to pay you for your allowance. Like I need to be the bank person and I need to give you the crisp dollar for your 4 quarters so I can have these quarters so I can pay you later.
I like it.
So I made that realization.
It was one and done.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Coinstar podcast. Now we're going to get into our first question about film, which is, what is a film that inspires you?
Okay. Now, I'm going to start answering this question and try not to react too harshly because it occurred to me a film that inspires you is, I'm assuming deliberately, a very broad question.
It is extremely broad.
And the answer is the Stanley Kubrick 1971 classic, A Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
That is a film that has a deep inspiration for me, specifically because of the very first time I ever saw it. So my parents did a very foolish thing in hindsight, which was they allowed their 11-year-old son to have a television with cable in his bedroom.
Room. Yes. This is
which
a common story.
A dreadfully bad decision on their part. It is almost certainly the reason I am in the line of work that I am.
Okay.
And so I had this television in my bedroom with cable, full cable, back in the day, the old cable box. And so I would stay up very late, flipping around, seeing what I could find. And when I was 12 years old, on a school night at about 1 a.m, I stumbled on A Clockwork Orange opening titles.
Okay, so you're right there.
Right, I hit it right as the movie started. And when the title of the film came up, I remember thinking, oh, I've heard adults talk about this movie. I've heard the
Mhm.
title of this movie. I've never seen it. I know it's, they call it a classic. Um, I'll start watching as much as I can before I fall asleep. Next thing I know, it's 4:50 in the morning or whatever, and I am eyes wide open. I cannot believe what I just watched. Like, it changed everything for me about what
Mm.
movies could be, what cinematic storytelling could be, what kind of subject matter you could tackle in a Hollywood style film. I'd never seen anything quite like it.
Mhm.
And it really inspired me the way that people talk about Brando's acting in Streetcar, and how the level of acting he brought was like different than old movies, old style movies. And
Mm.
like, that's what seeing A Clockwork Orange when I was 12 years old did to me. It inspired me. I was like, oh my, everything's changed now. I can never go back to pretending movies and storytelling like this doesn't exist.
Mm.
And I remember finding the next time the movie was going to be on TV, and then I taped it on VHS.
Okay, yeah,
And
as you
then
do.
as
were you waiting? Were you standing by
Oh,
to, like, hit the
absolutely. Hit the
record button?
record right on
Okay.
those opening
Did
titles.
you stop it during any they maybe you didn't have
No, this was on
commercials.
Cinemax. Oh
Okay,
my
so it
god,
was
you
just
can't.
all the way
I
through.
don't think they could possibly show A Clockwork
Yeah,
Orange on a channel with
anything else.
commercials. Yeah. And so I remember recording it, and then I was telling all my friends, "You've got to see this movie. It's insane."
Mhm.
No. And so I would invite like a different friend over every weekend for a sleepover.
Did anyone ever call your parents and be like, what did your son just show my son?"
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But the only other movie I ever did that with, by the way, was Reservoir Dogs. Well,
Okay.
like, I had a VHS of it, and
Mhm.
I had brought a different friend over every weekend to
You
show
gotta
it to them.
educate people. That's how you educate them.
That really is. It was my duty to educate my fellow classmates on good filmmaking. Anyway, so uh, I wound up in my teens, I guess, or actually, not the rest of that year. I probably watched A Clockwork Orange like 30 times, which is a lot for a
Wow.
movie that intense.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
I could only do once,
I
and then I was
understand.
like, I don't know if I can not ever watch
It's
this again.
Look, that is not a movie for everyone.
I didn't think it was bad. I was just
No.
like, that was a lot.
Oh, it's
All right.
there's a lot going on in that movie. There is a lot of troubling stuff in that movie.
Yes.
And then I got so into it, I read the novel by Anthony
Mm.
Burgess,
Mm.
which, if you've ever, at 12, I was 13, I guess, when I read the novel. It's written in what's known as Newspeak, which
Okay.
is the language of sorts that Alex and the Droogs speak to one another
Mhm.
in the movie. Well, my Droogan brothers, viddy well. Like, that's what's known as Newspeak. It was Anthony Burgess. Anyway, getting through that novel written in Newspeak was a
Because the
challenge.
whole thing is
The
that.
whole
Okay, it's
thing is
not
in Newspeak.
just certain dialogue.
Yeah, with the help of a clean tash took, the red Groovy soon stopped.
Hmm.
Like,
That sounds hard to read.
it is,
Almost like Beloved.
it
Wanna
really
read that book?
was tough to get through, but I did it, and I feel I'm grateful for it. And so that was a movie that, in spite of its very dark subject matter, was very inspirational to me in terms of opening up my eyes to the other world of filmmaking that I
Hmm.
didn't know yet.
That you didn't know existed.
Yep.
Now, had you seen Kubrick before this film, like his works, or was this your first
Um,
experience with a Kubrick film?
I think that may have been my first knowing Kubrick experience. I think No, I mean, knowingly. I had seen 2001 prior to that. But it was with my parents, and they only liked it because of the beautiful blue Danube with the space stuff.
Hmm.
I don't
Okay.
think I'd seen it all the way through. I remember seeing the monkeys, and then the space stuff, and then Hal starts to go
Yeah.
crazy,
Hal's great.
and then we don't watch the rest of it because my father's like, then it just goes off the rails. And I remember watching it as an adult, going, "Yeah, the old man was right.
Yeah,
It really does go off the
it does
rails.
kind of do that.
It's very 60s." But yeah, no, that was my first, like, "Oh, this is Stanley Kubrick, woohoo!" And then that did kickstart a bit of a love affair.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, Full Metal Jacket had already come out, but I wasn't ready to see that one yet. I
Mm.
don't think I saw Full Metal Jacket until at least another year or two later. I was 14, 15. My older brother gave me a VHS copy of that one. And then
These are the gifts that you get at Hanukkah each year. You're like, "Well, now I'm going to get another Kubrick film. Thank you."
I guess so. No, he
Is that
didn't
what
make me wait.
happens?
No, he didn't make me wait for the holidays. He
Okay.
just, he would watch it on VHS or tape it off TV and then just bequeath it to me,
That's nice.
as good older brothers do.
Mhm.
And then let's see, and then a couple years later, Eyes Wide Shut came out.
Is that 98? No.
I think it was
No,
99.
99.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was like, when did I see that? I remember seeing that in
I
theaters.
saw
That
that
was
one in
quite an
theaters.
experience.
That was an experience.
It's
Ooh,
like,
ooh,
what am I watching right now? What's happening?
hmm.
I mean, I know what's happening, but
Yeah,
really?
yeah. And then I was much too old before I finally saw Doctor Strangelove for the first time.
Hmm.
I
I've
was, I
only
was.
seen like the first scene.
Oh my god, it's such a great movie,
There's a
and
lot of
it's
Kubrick that I need to catch up
and it's
on.
still so topical today
I bet it is.
with the notion
Mhm.
of a completely unhinged war room,
Right. There's
and just there's
fighting in here.
there's all infighting and very little logic. It's great.
Oh man. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Kubrick that I definitely would like to see. Um and gosh, I'm like, do I have time? The thing is, do I have time? I need to figure out that thing. If I'm going to watch not another teen movie,
Oh boy.
am I going to have
I mean, what
time?
time do the children go to sleep?
Well, I'm usually off duty at about 9:30.
And so that means you're asleep by 9:41, right?
I'm already asleep
Yep.
usually before then.
Yep.
So yeah, trying to fit in a movie is can be difficult. I usually have to watch it in
I was gonna
parts.
say,
Like I
yeah,
watched
you got like,
Malcolm X over the term of like 5 days and then I
ooh,
was like
God,
I
that
am
sounds like
so
that
tired.
sounds like something you would do in school, like when you're in
It
elementary school.
does.
I remember we watched Amistad
Mhm.
in one of my history
Really?
classes
Huh.
in high school,
Okay.
and it took us like 5 days to get through Amistad
Mm.
with
I remember
40 minutes
watching
at a time
Amadeus and I was like, "This is an awesome film."
in school.
Yes.
Wow, what a great teacher!
I
What about
know.
the scene where she's topless?
I don't remember that.
Do you think they edited out? They found
It's
like a
possible.
school safe version of
It's
that movie for
possible.
you?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Wow,
It's like it's have you heard of that documentary Clean Flicks?
I have.
Yeah, have you seen it?
I've not.
Oh, okay. So it could be maybe like that.
I think it probably
School
was.
Clean Flicks. Okay, in the movie Clean Flicks, which is a documentary, this man in I think Utah takes movies and cleans them up, gets rid of all the bad stuff, all the bad words, all the sex scenes, so that way, people that are very religious can then watch the movie and know what it's about. It's kind of like Cliff Notes almost.
Mm-hmm.
Movie Cliff
Movie
Notes,
Cliff Notes.
which I think should be a thing in general. Like I want to watch a movie in 10 minutes. Let's see it.
I guarantee you, there's got to be something like that out
I'm
there
sure there is.
where it would have to be. It would have to pay more attention to like the classic films, so that
Mhm.
you don't have to actually sit through, say, oh boy, I don't want to get yelled at here. Let's say Gone with the Wind, which of
Okay.
course is a
Yeah.
beautiful moving epic, but
It is beautiful.
you don't have 4 hours.
Let's pretend. Yes.
So if you don't want to be the one friend in your group who's like 40 years old and has never seen Gone with the Wind,
Mhm.
we need to do like a 10-minute, hit all the key points.
Right, it's
so
kind of like doing the Wikipedia for it, only
Yes.
as a video.
as a video, so you can sit there and pretend you've seen Gone with the Wind.
Mhm.
And all right, we're on this. I think you and I have a new.
That's our thing.
That's going to be our new podcast.
Movie
Is
Cliff
10-minute
Notes.
podcasts about classic movies that you don't have
Let's
to sit through.
begin. Let's go to our next question, which is what is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful, maybe it's happy.
Okay, I went through a lot of different possible answers for this question in preparation.
Yes.
And the one I've landed on, I don't know that I'll ever be 100% comfortable with my answer, but it is a very strong memory because it is, and I really thought a lot about this, and I mean, I have my own theories, but it is literally the only time I have ever cried watching a film.
Oh.
Because I am dead inside. I want to
Okay.
be very clear. There is something wrong with me emotionally. I've seen a lot of films, and this is the only one that ever brought me to tears.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get why in a second, but the movie is Titanic.
Okay.
And the scene specifically is after the Titanic has sank and after Rose has been rescued, she is on the deck of, I believe it's the Carpathia, uh, and the one of the guys is asking. He says, "Can I get your name, love?" And she says, "Dawson, Rose Dawson." I
Mhm.
lose it almost every time now, but I would lose it at that moment the first 10 times I saw that movie.
Hmm.
And I don't know why exactly, because I like it was so moving to me when I first saw that movie, December 19th, 1997, the day it came out. I went to see that film in Edgewater, New Jersey, with my friend Ryan, and I remember sitting there in the theater, and I was holding it together that whole time. She's sitting on the big floating door, and Jack's just freezing there in the cold water. You selfish bitch, Rose. There was room on that door for two. Didn't you
Yes.
see Mythbusters? They proved it. Anyway,
That's
and
hilarious.
and she's telling Jack, "I'll never let go," and she can't wake him up, and she's trying to say the boats are here, and he is dead. He's a frozen ice cube, and she's got to leave poor dead Jack to
Hmm.
float down, sink down in the water, and then she gets
Yes.
rescued, and like I am barely holding it together through all of that. And then it's that next scene where she's on the boat, and she says Dawson, Rose Dawson. And I was that's it.
So you
I'm gone.
almost made it through the whole movie,
I am gone.
and
Yeah.
then, but that
And
was
that
the
scene,
breaking
that was
point.
my tipping point, as
Hmm.
Gladwell would say. Yes, that was my tipping point. I could hold it in no longer. I was so moved by this very easy love story,
Hmm.
admittedly,
Yeah.
but I was 15 years old. I
Yeah.
was the perfect age to be truly moved by that movie. And so I think that something like that, the age you were, what was going on in your life when you
Right.
saw the
Right.
movie, that has a tremendous impact on how you'll remember it, and how you'll feel about that movie most of the rest of your life. And so that's why I forgive you know really old people who say, "Oh no, Casablanca's the greatest movie ever made." I'm like, you have seen The Godfather, right? Goodfellas, any number of
Yes.
movies made after 1967, and they have, but it just doesn't have the same impact because they were older. They think it's, oh, those are young people movies. It doesn't
Hmm.
feel the same way to them as it does to a younger person. But
Right.
objectively, I think you are insane to say Casablanca or Citizen Kane is the greatest movie ever. That's right, AFI, I'm calling you out. um but yeah, so for me, when I saw Titanic, which I saw in theaters 4 times, um
Wow.
it
Nice
was
job. And you cried each time.
I cried, I think, 3 out of 4 times I
Okay.
saw it in the theater, and at least the first 1 or 2 times, I had the 2 VHSs. It
Hmm.
came as
Yes,
it
it
came as a
does come as
double
two. I
VHS.
remember. Do you remember when you had to switch it over? What scene it was?
Let me see if I can. I
Okay,
think,
because I remember this.
okay, wait. It's like the ship's already been struck by the iceberg,
Yes.
and it's shortly after that.
Hmm.
Is it like right after the conversation
They're
with
like
Mr.
they've
Ismay?
opened up the blueprints to be like, this
Yeah.
is out, this is
This is
out,
out.
this
This
is
is
out,
out.
and it's like,
Yeah,
now
they're
what are we
sitting
gonna
there with
do?
Jonathan. What's his face?
Something.
Well, that's the actor who plays the guy who owns the Titanic. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
that
yeah,
stuffy dude.
yeah. You
Hmm.
remember him from Anaconda and that other thing?
That other thing, sure, sure.
Yeah, I think he might have been in Richie Rich. I don't know. I watched the
You'd
wrong
know
movies when
better
I
than
was a
me.
kid.
I've seen both of those, so hey, at
It's been
least
too long
I'm batting
for both.
100.
I need to have a Richie Rich Anaconda double feature when I get
There you
home.
go. Let's see that one actor again, the
Refresh
guy from
myself.
Titanic.
His name is Jonathan something. I know that much. That British
Someone's
actor.
going to
That
tell us.
fine British
If
actor.
you are in the chat today, hey, thanks for being here. Let us know who that man is in Titanic that plays the guy that owns the Titanic, or is like, we
Right.
got to get this,
Right.
over to New York as quickly as possible.
Yep.
That guy, full steam
Yep.
ahead, that's pressuring everyone.
Yep.
So, Randall, if you could do that, Michael, Morvids, Laura, Mauricio, Geek to My Nerd, and Nerd Build, and Elise. Those are the people I see right now in the chat. So thanks.
Fantastic.
All
Hello.
of them are going to tell us who it is. They're all going to tell us. That's what's going to happen.
All right. Very well.
Titanic, yeah. When you see, it's definitely about when you see a movie and it hits you at the right time in your
Mhm.
life. I was just talking.
Hyde, Jonathan Hyde.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
Well, I got it half right.
You did.
Do you
You
think I
did
get
well.
half points in the Schmodown if I just get the first name?
You know what? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Mhm.
And then the other person, if they followed it up, could get the other half of the point. Like if they stole it or something.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways we could improve points.
All right.
Points
Well, I
getting.
don't want to devolve this this lovely
No.
conversation into
No.
Schmodown talk.
No, because no. All
Yeah.
right. So, anyways, Titanic. Getting back to
Titanic,
that.
the Rose where she
And the
says
fact that
Dawson, Rose
you're dead
Dawson.
inside and won't cry at anything
I've
else.
never cried. I've
Mhm.
literally never cried during another film. And for the record, I saw Schindler's List in theaters. Oh wait, I take it back. I take it back.
Mm.
That I did cry during Schindler's List, but not when I saw it in theaters in
Okay.
1993. I cried watching Schindler's List about a year and a half ago because I had not seen it since 1993.
Okay.
Since
and
I was
so
11
then-
years old. And it was on cable in the middle of the night,
Ah.
and I'd had a rough week. And I was watching the movie, and I was stoic and fine the whole way. And then the very, very end of Schindler's List, it goes from black and white to color, and then it cuts to then present day 1993. And you see this enormous group of people. And then the little chyron comes up, and it says, these are the descendants of the Schindler survivors. And then they all walk past Schindler's grave, and they all put a stone on the grave, which is a Jewish tradition to put a stone on the grave. And when I saw the sheer amount of people, and it's the real people doing this,
Mhm.
something just got me, and I was like, "Oh no!" And then I lost it. And I remember seeing
Wow.
that scene when I was 11 and being like, "All right." But I got what it was, but it
Right.
didn't hit me on that same emotional level it did when I was in my 30s. And yeah, so I take it back.
Hmm.
2 movies I've ever cried watching: Titanic and Schindler's List, and I think that's a pretty okay list
Yeah.
if you're dead inside
is.
like I am.
I feel like there was definitely a point in time where I did not cry at movies, even if they were emotional. But I've passed that point. I think at like 25 is when it started. Like I noticed, I was like, I'm obviously changing because I don't know what's going on. Why am I
Mhm.
crying?
Mhm.
I didn't have kids at the time, so it wasn't like a
No.
maternal thing or
No.
anything. And now it's like I cry at pretty much most things.
Yep, you
most
cried
things
during that Michelin commercial.
No, it's the Michelin commercial.
That's a
Talk about it.
swingers reference.
Oh, yes,
I
I do
think.
like that movie. I do like that movie. But the last movie I cried at was probably The Greatest Showman. Also, before that was Coco.
Mhm.
Um,
I cried during Dreamgirls
oh, I like Dreamgirls.
only because I was so sad I spent $11 to see it. Those were tears of extreme
I saw
sadness.
Show, Dreamgirls on stage, which is a really incredible
Wow.
show on
Okay.
stage. So
I did not see. I saw it in theaters, and this is true. I somehow did not know Dreamgirls was a musical when I went to go see it.
Sam was sharing with me before this that he doesn't like musicals. He, in fact, probably hates them, is
Not
what
a
I would
fan.
say. But yes. So I would go with, Coco. There's this part in Coco. Have you seen Coco?
You
No,
know I
you have
haven't.
not. But you may know about it. So
Was I
anyways.
babysitting your kids? Then I didn't see Coco.
All right. So here's Coco. There's this part everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna cry." Like like people have said on the, "Oh my gosh, I cried in Coco," and then you see it coming, and you're like, "Oh no, this is what's gonna happen." Like
Yep.
it comes, and you're like, "It's coming, it's coming, it's happening," and then
Mhm.
and then
And
I was
then it
like,
happens.
"No!" I was like, my body was like convulsing with
Ooh.
like tears
Ooh.
because like it hit me so much because he's singing and I'm just like, no, this
Oh.
can't be happening right now. I'll go into more specifics later. I don't want to spoil it though.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can spoil it for me,
Yeah.
so we'll talk about it
Okay,
off
I'll
camera.
spoil it for you so that way
Okay.
then it gives you some key plot points and then maybe that'll help you later.
Then I never have to see Coco.
Never. Well, you're gonna do that Cliff's Notes for Coco.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into our final question.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Movie More Vids 101. I cried at the end of St. Vincent, and I cried a lot while watching About Time.
Oh, I like About Time.
Is that the one with Rachel McAdams and
Donald Gleason?
Mm-hmm.
So great. I like them.
I don't know about St. Vincent, but About time. The only scene I could see one getting misty-eyed
The
is
kid changing?
no.
Okay. The
Uh,
dad, the day with the
the
dad?
day with
Okay,
the
so
dad. I don't want to go too
oh,
into
man.
detail,
Yeah.
but that you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm,
That's the
mhm.
only scene in there that might get someone, if they were of a certain age or had a relationship with a parent who was maybe on their way out. I've already given too much away, but you get the idea.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, the dad. I knew where you're going more vids, but I
Yes.
cannot agree
So
with you
good.
on Saint Vincent. That movie was
I didn't see St. Vincent. I
not.
don't even know what it's about.
It was that just seemed like a present day Bill Murray vehicle.
Oh, okay.
That was Bill Murray and Melissa McCarthy, and Naomi Watts is in that movie.
This is
Very
something that
strange role.
really just passed me by,
She
like,
plays I think she plays a like a prostitute.
huh.
Anyway,
Anyway, final
yep.
question, which is what is a film that helps you through difficult times?
Okay. I uh I was introduced to the Marx Brothers by my late grandfather on my mother's side. We used to go up to from New Jersey to my grandparents' home in Rhode Island, uh, usually once, maybe twice a year, and usually at the end of summer. And we'd stay a couple days, and he had this VHS collection and
Okay.
Laserdisc collection.
Oh,
Oh,
fancy.
he was ahead of the times. And this VHS collection he had was a legendary collection. Most of the stuff was taped off of TV or like transferred.
Yes.
Um, and he had all the Marx Brothers movies.
Hmm.
And so he introduced me to the Marx Brothers, and I honestly couldn't tell you exactly how old I was the first time I saw the Marx Brothers film Animal Crackers, which, for those playing along at home, was their second released film. The first being The Coconuts, which came out in 1929. Uh, and that's not a very good movie because they basically just shot the Broadway version of The Coconuts, which they'd done on Broadway for a
Mm.
while. So Animal Crackers was their first real soup to nuts studio movie written for them to do for cameras properly.
Does the song by Shirley Temple come into play in this?
It does not. I don't
Okay.
believe Shirley Temple is in that
All
movie.
right, great.
Um, and uh, And the first time I saw that movie, I could not have been older than 10. I was probably 8 or 9 years old.
Mhm.
And I mean, at this point, I'm a kid who's, been growing up on Garfield and Friends and, Punky Brewster
Garfield and Friends was a lot of fun.
Family Ties and Growing Pains
Mhm.
or whatever the hell else was on
Alex
TV.
P. Keaton.
Exactly. So this was my sense of comedy. And then I saw the Marx Brothers Animal Crackers and I laughed so hard watching that movie. There are so many jokes that work in that movie. And I remember taking the VHS home. He let me borrow the VHS, and I took it back to New Jersey and watched it again and again and again. And it to this day remains one of my all-time favorite movies. And I have absolutely, on more than one occasion, if I'm in a melancholy mood and want to watch something that maybe reminds me of my, grandfather or a time in my life, and laughing myself to tears, I will put on Animal Crackers.
Hmm.
And in fact, in preparation to answer this question, I watched a little bit of it a few nights ago.
Nice.
My God, is that a funny movie? Those guys were fucking geniuses. That the shtick they were doing would still be funny literally almost 100 years
Later,
later.
right. Just
Um,
like I Love Lucy is still funny.
yeah.
Man.
And there's a scene in
Although
that
she's not
movie.
100, but
Well, there's a scene in that movie in Animal Crackers where Chico and Harpo play bridge with Margaret Dumont, and I think the other actress in the scene is Lillian Roth, but I could be wrong. And they were the straight men, if you will,
Mhm.
in the scene with Harpo and Chico, and it's a scene where they're playing bridge. And I mean, it helps if you're watching the scene if you know how bridge is played.
Okay.
But even if you don't, it's still funny. The first few times I saw the movie, I had no idea how bridge was played. I still laughed. But then learning how to play bridge and then watching that scene, is a whole different level of funny. And it's the most outrageous scene with these two, very proper society women, and then Chico and Harpo, who are just goofing around in this scene as they're trying to play this hand. And every time Harpo was dealing the cards out, he's literally showing Chico, do you want this card? And then he
No.
throws it, and he
Okay.
literally chucks it away, or he looks at a bad card and then throws it in Margaret Dumont's hand,
Mhm.
and then he shows him one card and he says, no, 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 don't play that. And then he literally just, the shot is wide enough, he just bends down and rips up the card and throws it away. And then,
That's great.
yeah, and then in bridge, typically the ace of spades is a very good card to have. And so there's one scene where they're actually playing the hands out, and then Chico is calling out the cards as they're being played. And at one point, he's calling out the cards, and then, the other two ladies play a card, and then Harpo keeps laying down the last card. And Chico calls it up, ace of spades. And then they play another hand. Another ace of spades. Ace of spades. How many aces you got in that deck? 100? Oh, 200. All right. He's a very good player. And the way he just rhythmically keeps saying ace of spades, made me laugh so hard as a kid and a teenager that when I started acting and I had to become a corporation, I incorporated because when you get paid as an actor, and especially when you're a kid, it's the smartest way to do it for you kid actors out there. Get incorporated, and that meant I got to name my corporation.
Hmm.
I could name it anything I wanted
So
within
Ace of
reason.
Spades.
And so my production company is Ace of Spades Productions
Oh,
Incorporated,
I
because of
love it.
that scene in Animal Crackers that makes me laugh so hard to this day. 2 nights ago when I watched it, I cried. I was laughing so hard watching that scene, which it's been at least 10 years since I've watched Animal Crackers. And I only watched a few minutes, but I'm probably going to wind up watching the whole thing this weekend.
It's another one that needs to be on my list then.
Oh,
For
God, yes.
sure.
And it's a
For
quick one. I
sure.
think it's like 67 minutes or
Oh,
70 minutes or
ooh,
something.
even better.
It's not a
Even
long film.
better.
Yeah,
I
you'll
could
get through
definitely. I
it.
don't need to break that up
Yeah.
into a few days.
Yeah.
So that's
And
nice.
there are jokes in there, by the way, that I, of course, missed as a kid.
Mhm.
But now as an adult, watching them and hearing these jokes, there are a couple of throwaway lines in that movie.
Mhm.
So Margaret Dumont plays Mrs. Rittenhouse, and the whole movie takes place at her mansion over a weekend or whatever. And then, oh God, I think her butler's name is Hives, and he's a rotund gentleman. And so there is a line where Groucho asks Mrs. Rittenhouse, Mrs. Rittenhouse, how do you pay Hives? Is it by the hour or by the pound? And then, as a total throwaway at half the volume, is it by the hour or by the pound or by the fire? For 1930, folks, that is an intense joke, because he is alluding to the fact that she is sleeping with him as payment for his services as her butler, and he is a fat man. And I don't know, in 1930, that was quite a risque joke
That would be.
that the Marx Brothers were going after.
That's why they had to go real low with that.
Real low. You can barely hear it, but if you listen for it, you'll hear it.
You turn up that volume, you'll get it. I bet some people were pleasantly surprised that they picked up on that, and then other people are like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Right?
Yep.
That's always fun.
I don't know.
I do love how movies change the older you get and the more you watch it,
Mhm.
and just like being able to find little nuances that you didn't see the first time.
Yeah.
At this point, I've watched Clue so many times, I don't think I could find another nuance in there that
No?
I haven't picked up.
Would you say that's one of your favorite films?
Yes, I would. I don't think it's like the best film. It's not like on my top.
I didn't ask if you said it was the
but
greatest. I
yes,
just
it's
asked
one
if
of
it's
my
your
favorites. One of my favorites. So for sure, I've seen it way too many times. Way too many times.
Did you see it in theaters, or were you probably too young?
I was too young to see it in theaters, so I saw
85.
it at as a rental. And I think it was one of those things where like someone brought it over to our house
Mhm.
to show my sister, because my sister's older, and I was there watching it with them because I'm the little sister and I have to do what they're doing.
Sure.
So that's how that works. And I was like, I really like this film, and then I ended up renting it over and
Mhm.
over again from the rental
I'm
place.
sure you know what I'm about to tell you about the movie.
Okay, I don't know.
But when you watch
tell
it
me.
on VHS or on cable, it's got
all
the
of the
different
endings, but Originally, it was released theatrically. They had different endings. It was A, B, and C.
Right. Different endings
Yes.
depending on what theater you saw.
Yep.
So they were trying to get people to go see it in
More
multiple
times, but
theaters.
it didn't work.
It did not pan out that
It
way.
was
No,
a
it was not
bust.
not a box office success. But let's pretend you had seen it in 1985. Knowing all
Mm.
the endings now, which do you prefer?
Knowing, I mean, I like the what really happened.
Right.
That's my favorite.
It's pretty good,
Hmm.
especially because Michael McKean gets the button.
Yes, Michael
I'm gonna go
McKean is
home and
so
sleep
great.
with my wife.
I said, shake,
Cue,
rattle, and
cue
roll.
Bill Haley
I
in the
said,
comments.
shake, rattle, and roll. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
Man,
Yeah,
guys,
that's a
Clue is
very
great.
that is a very silly movie, and I think Tim Curry. And yes, I'm considering the Rocky Horror Picture Show when I say this. That may have been his finest hour. Was
It's
Clue?
definitely probably his most in depth because I was reading, I read a lot of trivia about the movie and it was like people would be goofing off and he would be very serious and he's like, I am memorizing the phone book. Like, this is very serious and you're
Yeah,
just having fun.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah,
yeah,
you carry this film.
yeah. Hey, here's a fun trivia. The guy who plays Mr. Body,
Hmm.
what is
Leaving is his name.
that's it. She got it. I couldn't even ask the question before you
Okay.
got it. Nicely done.
I love how it's leaving.
Lee, last name Ving, like Ving
Like,
Rhames.
yes,
Yep,
amazing.
yep. That's pretty damn
Anyways,
good.
thank you so much, Sam, for being on the
Oh,
show.
that's it.
Do we want to do movie
I I
prescriptions?
could have talked. I would love to. I could talk,
Okay.
especially with you, about movies all day.
Excellent. Let's do a little bit of movie prescription. So here's what's going to happen. If you're in the chat, tell us your problem and we will prescribe you a film for that problem. It can be anything. Sam has a hoarse voice.
A little hoarse, but I'm
So
hanging in there.
so maybe we should prescribe him a movie. I would say a musical because it's about voices, but maybe we should do something more. How about Hush? You should watch Hush. Have you
Wait,
seen that film?
I have. That's the one with Paltrow and
No, no,
Jonathan
no.
Sheck.
No, this is a horror film that is on Netflix. And it is about a woman that is deaf, mute, and she's being stalked by this man that wants to come into her house and kill her. And so she's
Jesus.
trying to like stop that from happening.
Yeah, but she's deaf,
Yeah.
so she can't hear him if he's like breaking glass and stuff. Is
It's
that the idea?
really, really cool.
Okay,
Mhm.
it's like a different version of Wait Until Dark.
There you go. It is a different version of that. Also, I have not seen Don't Breathe, but
I haven't seen that one either.
it's kind of a the opposite in a
Okay.
way because she
Right.
can see everything and
Right.
the guy in that can't. So let's see what we've got here. Work is super stressful right now. Too much on my plate at one time, and everything is a priority. Christy 1929. What's a oh, you know what? How about Office Space for you, Christy?
Office Space is a
'Cause-
terrific prescription for anyone, anything that ails you. If you're
Mhm.
sick of the grind,
Yes. The Bobs, we can just tell them. I just didn't
Bobs are
feel like
great.
coming into work today, Bob.
Yeah.
You're promoted.
Yep. I do. It is such a great movie that was so ahead of its time. And of course, I mean, I'm sure you remember it tanked the
Mhm.
box office. And it wasn't until it came out on DVD and then had that groundswell a year after it had been on DVD before it
Mhm.
became, really part of the zeitgeist.
Let's see.
Ooh, any prescription for a gambling problem? I would love to answer that
Oh,
question.
okay, answer it.
There is
please.
a classic film from the 70s called California Split. It is a Robert Altman movie starring Elliot Gould and George Segal. And it is, spoken for me as a poker player, it is probably one of the most accurate poker gambling movies I've ever seen, which is tough because anytime you do a movie about poker or gambling, it's always the most unrealistic hands.
Like 21, although 21 was supposed to be based on a true story.
Oh, I know, by
Yeah.
Ben Younger. Blech. Anyway, so I love California Split because I do not want to give the ending away to you. I will just say it is the most realistic ending of a gambling movie I've ever seen, and it stays with you. So if you were being serious and you really do have a gambling issue, F Beto, check out California Split. And yeah, that's probably it. Anything else like Rounders or what was that one? Mississippi was not
Burning.
Stud. Mississippi Burning. Yeah, there was one a couple years ago with Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds, Mississippi something, that I
Oh.
saw. That's not. It's not
Someone tell us if you
great.
know it. Someone has the flu.
Oh no.
Geek to my nerd has the flu. Um,
Oh,
let's
watch Contagion.
there you go. That's a
Right.
good one. Then you won't feel so bad.
Then you won't feel so bad. You'll be like, the flu. I can deal with this.
Or Killing of a Sacred Deer. Is that I did not see that. I know you saw that. I was
Yeah.
supposed to see it with you.
Oh,
Didn't end
that's
up happening.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids. That's my excuse every
You didn't
time.
miss anything.
Okay, good.
I do not understand people who enjoyed that movie. The only thing missing from that movie that would have made me actually get behind it was an old gypsy lady, which sounds
Okay.
very strange, but if you've seen the film and you have the same problem with it I do, that makes perfect sense.
Uh Mauricio is lonely. Mauricio, let's something
Um,
to cure loneliness.
Moon,
Oh, well, we could go that route.
Castaway,
How about ones
build
with like
yourself a
more
Wilson.
people and like, oh, friendship is
Well,
great.
no, I want look.
Okay, it's okay to be alone.
Mississippi
Is what you're
Grind.
telling me.
Thank you. It is okay to be alone, and there's Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can't, I can't create more people. So if you can't
No.
solve that, you just have to solve being okay being alone.
Right. Oh,
And I think that's
very
where I was going
profound.
with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So then, yes, going with the ones
Going
of,
with the movies
of
about
the
solitude.
singular
Yeah.
and the solitude. Yes.
Yeah. Check out Groundhog Day. That was one of my alternates,
Groundhog
by the
Day.
way, for
Mhm.
movies that bring back a memory, inspire me.
You have
That
lived a
was
day over and over again.
No, but I've thought about that movie a lot, and it's not a curse; it's a blessing that he's
Mm,
given to get the opportunity to better himself without technically losing any
yeah.
time.
It's a curse until you realize then
That it's not a curse.
it's resolved.
Right, once it resolves.
Yes.
And they've gone back and forth on this depending on what version of an interview with Harold Ramis you read or what version of the audio commentary you'll hear while watching the movie. And like I said, they've gone back and forth on this. And so at one point, Harold Ramis thought that Bill Murray's character, Phil Connors, spends approximately 10 years repeating the same day.
Oof.
He's since revised that and said, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's 100 years. Maybe it's 1,000. I don't know."
Ah.
So I've always stuck with 10 years because I believe
Mhm.
if that was his first answer, that's probably what he was thinking while making it.
Sure. Yep.
So if you think about that, if you could get 10 years added to your life that doesn't actually cost you any of your overall life when you're, how old do we think Phil Connors is? 40 something?
Yeah.
42, 43
Mm-hmm.
probably in that movie. So that's a gift. That's not a curse. It seems like a curse at first when he really thinks there's no way out of it. But then it is revealed to be a blessing because he's given 10 extra years to grow as a person and become a better person. And that for me is both a great lesson and listen up, all you would-be filmmakers. That is the secret to telling a good story, is showing a character change from A to B, and most importantly, giving the audience perfectly valid reasons to understand the change from A to B. If you have a disingenuous or unearned character change like that, God help you. And there is a movie currently getting a lot of awards buzz. I will not name it. It is a very popular film that is getting high marks across the board, and it contains, in my humble opinion, one of the most disingenuous, wholeheartedly unearned character turnarounds
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I have ever seen, and it is appalling. It is amateurish.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
it shook me to my core, and I will not name this film, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it and you do, you will know, oh, that's the movie he was talking about. And I am beside myself that this day and age, a writing 101 a lesson like that could be ignored.
I know it
Completely
is frustrating
ignored.
because I share the sentiment,
Thank you.
and I
Yep.
feel like that was just too exactly unearned, too quick,
Unearned.
too quick. That's not how.
Nope.
No,
Sorry.
There were no good people in
There's
that
no
film.
shortcuts in good writing.
But I saw something in the chat that said
Yes.
Swiss Army Man for the loneliness. And
Oh,
I thought,
yeah.
thank you, Michael, for suggesting that, because that is a great
That is a
great
terrific
one.
suggestion for dealing with the loneliness. Ooh, how about similarly The Beach? Specifically the scenes where he gets sent away from the group and has to watch the drug guys
I was
and he
like,
goes a
is
little
this
crazy.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, that
Okay,
beach. That was his
yeah,
follow-up to
yeah.
Titanic.
Oh my goodness.
Remember, he waited a long time. It was a 2-year gap-ish.
I know.
Because
That's
Titanic
really
was
hard
late
for someone like
97 and
me
then The
in
Beach
that
was
time.
2000. Yeah.
And let's do one more, which is Xander. It says, what movie would you suggest to watch in order to not be shy and interact with other people? I know someone did say Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's a good one. How
Thought that was good.
about Muriel's Wedding?
I've never seen Muriel's Wedding.
It's a very sweet little film with Rachel Griffiths and Toni Collette, Australian movie from the 90s. And she's a real shy. Toni Collette plays a real shy girl from a real weird family and really just like breaks out and like decides that she wants to not be this person anymore.
Not be as
And,
shy.
Yeah, not be as shy. She wants to be an extrovert. She wants to interact with the world, and so she really
It's an interesting journey.
It's a
to
fun
make.
it's a fun movie to watch, especially now knowing how friggin' talented she is. It's another one. Not be shy and interact with people. I don't know. What about Bob?
I love What About Bob? Oh my gosh, I was talking about that this morning. I saw a picture on Instagram. A friend posted a picture in their story about someone that's commuting and had a fishbowl on their lap and like in the subway or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope the fish is named Gil. Like that's all I'm really hoping the fish is named
Good.
Gil. So that way this can be a What About Bob moment of
So
him
good.
taking his fish with him on vacation. Well, thank you, everyone that's been in the chat.
This is great.
And with the movie prescriptions, I really enjoy prescribing you a film to watch. And someone says, "Son-in-law, Michael, you're killing it with your suggestions. Son-in-law for shyness."
I was gonna say Michael is now on probation for ever suggesting in earnest a Pauly Shore movie. I mean, look, I love Tiffany Amber Thiessen as much as the next guy. Believe you me. But shame on you, Michael.
Wait, was she in that? No.
Isn't she?
Isn't it oh, I can't. Isn't it Moira Turney?
Oh, she might also be in it.
Okay.
But I know Tiffany Amber Thiessen is in one of those mid-90s, late
the
90s Pauly Shore movies. I thought it was Son-in-Law. It might be that other one, but I think it's Son-in-Law.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look that up.
God, I love her.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
for
you.
coming all this way, being on the show.
My pleasure.
Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the Twitters and the Instagrams. I'm at Samm Levine, SammLevine. And what else? Oh, you can see me nearly every Sunday on Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. New episodes stream live Sundays at 12:30 Pacific, and then they plop on iTunes and YouTube the following Tuesday. Thank you, Janine. Yes, she is in Son-in-Law. I'm not crazy here. And Michael's claiming that he was joking with Son-in-Law, but
it was Carla Gugino.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I should know that. Troop Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah. I also Saved by the Bell, Carla Gugino. How about that? Carla Gugino was in season 1 of Saved by the Bell when it was called Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Oh,
she was a teenager.
When they were like in middle school.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
I
was giving plugs. Great episodes of the chat show we just had. We just had Greg Kinnear on. That episode is on iTunes and YouTube as of yesterday or 2 days ago. Check that one out. He was terrific. Ricky Gervais. Who else? I don't know. So many great episodes. There's literally hundreds of backlogs to get through. And I don't know. Check me out on the Schmodown, right?
Yeah.
Check us both out on the movie trivia Schmodown over
it's on hiatus right now.
It is. We're in between seasons, so we're taking a well-earned break, especially for Christian. But we will be back with a new season on that very soon. And I don't know. Watch Not Another Teen Movie.
That's what I'm going to do right
Netflix,
after this.
if it's assuming it's even available to stream on Netflix.
It's not on Netflix. I've looked many times.
Okay. So sorry.
So I will just be renting that. But then I know it's that money that I'm spending is going to a good cause.
Thank you so much.
There you
that
go.
Good cause is not me. It's Sony. I want to be very clear.
Oh, darn.
That. Yeah.
Well, you guys can find me all day, every day on Twitter at Miss Movies, Instagram Miss_movies, and that's it. Yay. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. 6 Degrees returns next week on Wednesday. So we'll see you then. Bye. 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 Bye.